Hello everyone. In the previous lecture, we learned about the nation and its representation and perception of homosexuality and how that shaped the performances surrounding representations of gender. Same-sex relationships in India, as we learned in the previous class, were criminalized because of British colonial laws, not Indian traditions. Section 377, introduced in 1860, was based on English beliefs that saw homosexuality as sinful. This law shaped Indian views until 2018, when it was partially removed for consensual adult relationships. Before British rule, Indian society had more flexible ideas about gender and sexuality. But under colonial rule, strict Victorian morals were enforced, and even Indian nationalists adopted them while trying to modernize. These changes were seen in the theatre as well, where male actors used to play female roles, but due to colonial discomfort surrounding homoeroticism, they were replaced by Anglo-Indian actresses to appear more respectable. The literature of this time also reflected this shift. Ugra's book, Chocolate, criticized homosexuality but caused controversy for just mentioning it. Scholars believe that even though the stories were negative, they brought same-sex desire into public conversation. Overall, colonial laws and values changed how India thought about gender and sexuality, leading to lasting silence and stigma around queer identities. In this lecture, we will look at publishing houses. Now, in some of the previous lectures, we have seen how pamphlets were used by many writers to moralize Indian women, while establishment of little magazines created an avenue for women and Dalits to voice their opinions. The result of this is stories such as Sultana's Dream, where Sultana imagines an alternate world. If you have any queries, you can revisit the lectures and watch them again. Now, during the early years of British colonial rule in India, the press and journalism had little influence on the political life and did not play a significant role in the development of political ideas. Journalism at that time lacked both reach and quality, especially in its connection to politics. However, this situation began to change gradually, particularly between 1870s and early 20th century, as the Indian nationalist movement started to take shape. In this early phase of nationalism, the focus was more on political education the spread of nationalist ideology, and creating a politically aware public. The press quickly became an essential instrument for nationalists to achieve these goals. The Indian National Congress, in its formative years, relied heavily on newspapers to circulate its resolutions, publicize its proceedings, and reach the wider public. As a result, numerous newspapers began to appear, led by committed journalists and reformers. These publications were not commercial ventures. Rather, they were seen as vehicles for national and public service. Several important developments supported the growth of Indian press during this time. The expansion of English education and the introduction of printing presses made it easier to produce and distribute written material. The establishment of libraries and improvements in communication systems such as the telegraph and railway networks further boosted the spread of ideas. Moreover, the publication of religious texts by European Christian missionaries encouraged Indians to assert their own religious and cultural philosophies through media. The press played a crucial role in preserving and promoting regional languages like Bengali, Marathi, and Tamil, which helped to build a strong base for cultural and political expression at the local level. At the same time, a dynamic and educated middle class began to emerge, consisting of scholars, social reformers, teachers, lawyers, and writers. Many of them took up publishing as a way to contribute to the development of society. These individuals used media platforms to express their ideas, mobilize support for social reform, and articulate their visions of national identity. The media also became a space for upper caste and middle class groups, along with various religious communities, to voice their concerns and assert their presence in the public sphere. Through newspapers, pamphlets, and books, these groups debated religious, cultural, and social issues. The press enabled discussions on the differences and similarities between major religious traditions such as Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, and Sufism, as well as intra-religious debates, for instance, between the Sanatan Dharma and the Arya Samaj. Now, as the media became a platform for competing views, it also turned into a powerful space for shaping collective consciousness and identity. It gave voice to a variety of perspectives that may otherwise have been suppressed under colonial rule. However, the growing influence of Indian press made the colonial authorities uneasy. The East India Company and later the British government viewed the Indian press with suspicion, often imposing restrictions or censoring critical publications. Despite this, Indian journalists and thinkers continued to use the press to challenge colonial rule. They also used it to critique missionary efforts and promote national unity. Ultimately, the press in colonial India played a transformative role in shaping modern Indian society, serving not only as a means of political resistance but also as a tool for cultural revival, public education, and assertion of indigenous identity. Now, closely linked with the nationalist movements and ideologies is the emergence of the Gita press. Jayadayal Goenka and Hanuman Prasad Poddar set up the Gita press and the Kalyan magazine in the 1920s. As of early 2014, Gita Press had sold close to 72 million copies of the Gita, 70 million copies of Tulsidasa's work, and 19 million copies of scriptures such as Puranas and Upanishads. Now, Akshaya Mukul's book, The Gita Press and the Making of a Modern India, notes that it was only in 1926 that Gita Press truly came to life as a serious player in the fast emerging Hindi publishing world. The seeds of its development and helped sow into the most successful religious genre publishing house, not by Goenka and his associates concerned for one religious text, but by an acrimonious debate between reformists and conservatives in the larger Hindu world. The growth and success of the Gita Press and its magazine Kalyan can be explained by three closely connected factors. First, by the late 1800s and the early 1900s, Hindi was becoming a strongly identifiable language of the Hindus, especially in the northern part. During this time, there was a rapid expansion of the Hindi public sphere, with many new journals, newspapers, publishing houses, and public figures shaping public opinion. This growing media space was closely monitored by the British colonial state, which used informants and strict laws to keep control over political and religious activities. This also highlights how the colonizers viewed the prowess of publishing houses. Gita Press was a Marwari business, but it stood out because it was not focused on making profits. Instead, its main goal was religious, specifically to spread and protect the Sanatan Hindu Dharma. Although the version of Hinduism it promoted was quite conservative and traditionalist. In terms of ambition and scale, Gita Press was unlike anything in the Hindi literary world that had seen before. It aimed to reach as many people as possible through its religious teachings, and it treated this mission with utmost seriousness and scope of a major national project. Now, the most important factor was the political environment of the 1920s, a period when tensions regarding to communalism were growing sharply. Nationalism was increasingly being divided along religious lines, and frequent communal riots, especially on sensitive issues, fueled further division. We have seen its impact especially in terms of caste and religious lines in the previous lectures. In this context, many Congress leaders who were dissatisfied with the direction of Congress politics, such as Madan Mohan Malaviya, who founded the Hindu Mahasabha, Purushottam Das Tandon, K. M. Munshi, and Seth Govind Das, threw their support behind the work of Gita Press and the Kalyan magazine. A major moment for this press came in 1923 when leaders from the traditionalist Sanatan Dharma groups and the reformist Arya Samaj came together at a meeting in Banaras. They agreed to work together on common causes like protecting cows and promoting Shuddhi. This alliance gave a huge boost to conservative Hindu movements and strengthened efforts to build a unified Hindu identity. Especially, the Gita Press played a crucial role in spreading these ideas across the Hindi-speaking world. As Bilawal mentions, Mukul's book tells us a story of how specific constituents of print media can serve as major instruments of popular mobilization for the creation of a sectarian Hindu communal consciousness. In an interview, Mukul says, the idea was that Hinduism should speak in one voice, just like Islam does. According to them, Hindus were in big trouble because they didn't speak in one voice. In the first issue of Kalyan in 1926, Hanuman Prasad Poddar writes in the editorial that Hindus needed the Sangha Bal or unity of strength. There was a proper subhead in the editorial called Hindu-Muslim Samasya. So, it was a political project. Otherwise, they always said that it is a journal for bhakti, gyan and vairagya, that is renunciation. But they were hitting at various levels. Anyone who is spiritually inclined but not a believer in Hindu right-wing ideology would read it. From time to time, they would speak of colonial and political things that were happening. They were unique in this sense that they created a Banya model of bhakti. A lot of people go to the temple because it makes them feel happy and peaceful. This is a very interesting interpretation that directly connects nation with a Hindu Marwari identity. Kalyan, the publication of Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana, were made available in lakhs of copies at a very low price. Thus, it was a joining together of the realms, the moral, the sacred, and the commercial. By making religious books like the Bhagavad Gita and Ramayana cheap and easily available to all, Kalyan and the Gita Press were doing much more than promoting personal devotion. They were creating a mass religious culture that blended three powerful forces: moral values, sacred religious duty, and commercial enterprise. On one level, they were teaching Hindus what it meant to live a good, righteous life through sacred texts. On another level, they were building a shared Hindu identity that tied individuals to a larger collective idea of the nation. And at the same time, they were using the tools of business: low cost, mass production, smart marketing, and wide distribution. These actions helped spread these ideas efficiently. In this way, religion was not just a personal or private matter anymore. It became deeply connected to ideas of community, identity, and even politics. Gita Press, through its spiritual messaging wrapped in communal success, helped quietly shape a version of Hindu nationalism that linked faith, culture, and economic realities of modern life. Now, let us summarize today's lecture. In the early years of British rule, the Indian press, as we have learned, had little influence on politics. But by the late 19th century, became a key tool for spreading nationalist ideas and education among the public. Newspapers were not necessarily created for profit, but to serve a national cause, to awake its citizens and help Indians express political, cultural, and religious views. Improvements in education, printing technology, libraries, and transport system allowed ideas to spread widely. Religious publications and the rise of local languages like Bengali, Marathi, and Tamil further strengthened the cultural identity. In this context, the Gita Press, founded by Jayadayal Goenka and Hanuman Prasad Poddar in the early 1920s, became hugely important. It sold millions of copies of the Gita, Ramayana, and other texts at a low price, making religious texts and teachings accessible to the masses of Hindi-speaking regions. Gita Press's success came from three main factors: the rise of Hindi as a Hindu language, its religious mission over profit, and the political tensions of the 1920s that made Hindu unity a powerful idea. Although the Gita Press and its magazine Kalyan spoke the language of devotion and wisdom, they subtly promoted Hindu nationalist ideas by encouraging unity among Hindus. By blending religion, morality, and commerce, Gita Press helped transform personal faith into a larger sense of national identity. Publishing houses like the Gita Press played a crucial role in creating a nationalistic emotion by connecting everyday religious devotion with the broader project of building a Hindu nation. Through mass publication, they not only preserved cultural traditions but also helped ordinary Indians imagine themselves as part of a larger collective struggle for identity, unity, and independence. Thank you.